Hey, welcome to Boris to Bricks Ministry. I'm your favorite felon, the Rev. Dr. Kev. We are starting a new series. Please stay tuned. This is so important. Catch every one of these. Become a part of a movement to help free some of these people. We are going to start talking about innocent people who are incarcerated. We're even going to cover some cases that have been overturned and already for some prime examples. One gentleman I know that we will be going through in this series, and that's Floyd Bledsoe. And I will be talking about his case in a following video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. I want to hear from you. If you know someone who's innocent in prison, who hasn't done their crime, send me their information. I'll do some research and stuff, and if I feel the same, then or if there's a convincing enough argument, I will post it forward. Keep in mind, there is about 10% of the prison population who's actually probably innocent, where when you're in the penitentiary system, about 80% will tell you they're innocent. So I mean a true innocence, because it's out there, it's bad, and it's a problem. Before we get further, like I said, just please like, share, subscribe. I want to hear ideas from you too. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're here to talk today about a super serious issue: incarceration of innocent people. People's lives changed upside down, thrown in the penitentiary, convicted of a crime, and they never broke the law. According to the Innocence Project, there is an estimated 2,000 innocent people who are wrongfully imprisoned in the United States right now. This number is a startling reminder of the flaws in our justice system. The story begins, we're going to talk about the case of Daryl Hunt, who was wrongly convicted in the rape and murder in North Carolina in 1984. Despite the lack of physical evidence linking him to the crime, Hunt was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. After 19 years of incarceration, DNA evidence finally cleared Hunt's name, and he was released in 2003. Hunt's case is just one example of the many innocent people who are wrongfully incarcerated in the United States. In fact, the Innocence Project estimates the 2,000 or more than 2,000 people that are currently serving times in our U.S. prisons. This number is especially alarming, just super alarming, considering the fact the United States has the highest rate of incarceration in the world. Here in the United States, we are, as a free country, with all these rights, we lock people up at an alarming rate. Our justice system is lacking in every way, in every facet of the imagination. The prison systems are not designed to help somebody rehabilitate, become a new person, change, and get out. So, it's important to remember that people do go to prison and for something they didn't commit. And the United States, we incarcerate at just an alarming rate. The causes of these wrongful convictions vary. Some cases it might be something as small as a small crime, a burglary or something. In other cases it could be all the way up to murders, rapes, child molestations. I've seen it all. The causes of these wrongful convictions, they vary. Some cases, suspect may be wrongfully accused due to mistaken identity or faulty eyewitness testimony. In other cases, suspect may be coerced into confessing to a crime they did not commit. Moreover, many of these convictions are based on outdated or unreliable forensic evidence. Many of these prosecutors, like Mark Bennett in Sedgwick County, it's not about the Constitution, it's not about the law, it's about a win-loss ratio. If you're accused, he wants you convicted. Sedgwick County has a 96% conviction rate. Now, out of that 96% conviction rate, probably 98 to 99% of those are plea deals. Good portion of those people probably aren't guilty, but the lack of defense from some of these attorneys, these public defenders, some they're unqualified, they don't care, whatever the case may be, they don't fight for you. So that makes a difference as well. And like I said, the DNA evidence, the alarming, talking about the unreliable forensic evidence, look at some of the stuff we've convicted people with over the years that would not fly today, nor did we have that technology back then. So, DNA evidence is awesome. But when there's no other evidence, makes you really take a look at the court that it's in. Are they being forthright, honest, given a fair trial, or is it just about throwing away the key and locking somebody up and forgetting about them just because they're accused? Especially if it's a high-profile case, it makes it even harder, because now the prosecutor and the cops and everything, they got to save face. They done put your face and everything across the media saying you did this and that. If they lose, they look really bad. And some of them take it personal, like Mr. Bennett. It's not to do with justice, it's a personal issue, and that's not right. The consequences of these wrongful convictions can be devastating. They change people's life. They ruin people's life. Not only are innocent people forced to spend years in prison for a crime they did not commit, but they're also denied the right to a fair trial. U.S. Constitution, people, we seem to forget that it exists or how to follow it. Furthermore, they may suffer psychological trauma and economic hardship as a result of their unjust incarceration, physical trauma. Worse, prison is dangerous. Just like being innocent and put in prison, you can be innocent and something can happen to you in prison. You could end up in the wrong place at the wrong time, get stabbed, anything, and for something you didn't even do. It's sad. Thankfully, there are organizations such as the Innocence Project and many others that are dedicated to overturning wrongful convictions. But they're extremely overworked. They got such a high caseload. And the Innocence Project also usually death row cases and stuff a lot of times they handle as well. And so they're very, very complicated cases, and which I'm kind of in the middle of helping with one right now. And they're very complex cases. But the standard of evidence is supposed to be higher in a death penalty case than another. It's can't just it's supposed to go for a jury and everything else, and so I don't know. There's a lot of injustice out there that need to be righted. The Innocent Project works to exonerate wrongfully convicted individuals through DNA testing and other forensic techniques. They also advocate for reforms to the criminal justice system in order to prevent future wrongful convictions. Let's go ahead and close out. And the incarceration of innocent people is a grave injustice that affects thousands of people in the United States. Not just the person incarcerated, but the family members, the loved ones, the friends, the kids, everybody involved in that person's life that's innocent in prison for a crime they didn't commit. That is many people's worst nightmare. You don't think it can happen to you? It can. It's happened to several people who thought they couldn't happen to them. We must do more to prevent wrongful convictions in the United States and to ensure that they are wrongfully convicted. When they are wrongfully convicted and cleared, they get the compensation and relief that they deserve. Some states, Missouri, there was a guy, Kevin Sutherland, who was cleared of a murder he'd spent, 30-something years, if I remember correctly, in penitentiary, and he didn't do it. Come back innocent and all that. And because Missouri law is written in, unless you're cleared by DNA, you can't sue. You can't get no just compensation. So this man gave up over 30 years of his life, who was innocent, for a murder he didn't commit. And all they're going to do is release him and say, I'm sorry, there's a problem with that. And when there's laws in place that prevent him from even getting compensation from his wrongful incarceration, there's even furthermore problems with that. People, pay attention to our politicians. Pay attention to who you vote for. Don't just vote for somebody because they're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. Look at their issues. Look at what they are behind. Are they for justice? Are they for standing up for our Constitution? Politicians today everywhere have forgotten that we have a Constitution and have definitely forgotten how to follow it. In fact, they try to make a lot of policies and laws that actually go against the Constitution. People, as Americans, we have a voice. We are the people, and the more that us unite in the correct manner and use our voice in the correct manner, the more change is going to happen. When these politicians and stuff start getting emails and stuff about justice and innocent people and all that, they start listening. We pay their salary. We put them in office. I know there's a handful of states that you can't get your rights back to vote as a felon. In the state of Kansas, you can. As long as you have satisfied your sentence, which means you're off parole and all that. And so you have your right to vote back, and that's important. Utilize that vote, utilize that voice. Even if you can't vote, you can still send letters to your senators and stuff like that in your area. They are not going to look up whether you're registered to vote or not. So, I mean, let's just do this correctly and try to make some changes. Let's look at our leadership of a ministry. I'm not going to say any names, good or bad, relationship, anything like that. As per federal law, a non-profit, I cannot. But I'm just going to say, pay attention to those people. If they're God-fearing and they know how to follow that Constitution, there's two positives right there, something we haven't had in our upper leadership in a long, long time. The last several presidents, all that, they don't care about our Constitution. They trample all over it. And it's becoming an issue. It's becoming more and more common. We're not looking at what our founding fathers had in mind. Our government started to become more government and less about the people, and that's the exact opposite of what our founding fathers were looking for. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate your time. Please be looking forward to this exciting, action-packed series, eye-opening, probably heartstring-tugging series on innocent people and the incarcerated. Future episodes, we're going to be talking about Mr. Floyd Bledsoe. We're going to also be talking who has been released due to DNA, and we'll go into a story when we get to that video. And also, the next one will be on Gary Wayne Sutton. Gary Wayne Sutton is convicted of a murder in Tennessee and sits on death row. There was no evidence. There was, in fact, some botched evidence that's come up since. There's a lot of errors in that trial. We're going to discuss it, and it's going to just blow some of you guys away of how bad our court system and our justice system is. Because until you encounter something with the justice system, many people think just because you're a law-abiding citizen, you pay your taxes and this and that you're going to be fine. It's not always the case. The nightmare can happen to anybody. Don't let it happen to you. Let's support our Constitution. Let's just bring back the fellowship and the togetherness of America. What happened to our patriotism after 9/11? Why do we have to have something so major to bring people together and then just allow everybody to separate apart? I'll never understand. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Barstow Bricks Ministries, we are being that positive change that we want to see in the world, and you can do it too. I have been the Rev. Dr. Kev, and I am out. Y'all have a blessed, blessed day.